Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your practice and moving together. We are going to start laying down on the mat, but before we do that, if you have a cushion or a pillow handy, there is an option to use that today. It isn't 100% necessary, but there will be some options. So if you would like to grab one, the bigger and bulkier, the better, to give you a little bit more support. So I'm going to use my bolster today. And we will start laying down. So if you have a cushion or a pillow, it's nice to put that under your back. What we're working on is doing a little bit of a back bend and opening up through the chest. So the smaller the pillow, the deeper of a back bend you will get. So if you've got a bit more of a higher, stronger cushion to give you a bit more support, be a bit more of a gentle back bend. And then we're aiming on opening up through the chest and through the heart as well. So taking the arms out to the side and allowing the chest to be open. We're going to be here for a little while, so make yourself comfortable. You can choose to have your legs out long, or you might like to have your feet together and knees out wide to get a little bit of opening into the groin, opening into the hips as well. And when you're feeling comfortable, you can close down your eyes and just bring your awareness into your body. Notice how your body is feeling this morning. Noticing any sensations or any feedback. Notice even here in stillness, the movement that's happening in your body. Maybe you feel the movement of your breath. Feeling your body fill up with that nourishing breath as you breathe in. And letting it out on the exhale. Filling all the way up on the inhale. And exhale, let it all out. Taking some long, deep breaths, letting that breath nourish your body and sending the breath all throughout your body. Can you send the inhale all the way down to your toes, filling your body up with love. And on the exhale, releasing any tension. On the inhale, creating space in your belly. On the exhale, releasing tension. On the inhale, filling up your heart space with love. On the exhale, releasing tension. Stay here for a little while with your breath, letting it nourish your body. And can you bring your awareness to how your body is being supported in this position? Where your body is being held, maybe by a cushion or a pillow, or where your body is being held by the ground, where your body is touching the earth, and the earth is supporting you here. Can you also acknowledge how your yoga practice supports your body? How you making the decision and the intention to move your body and nourish your body with your yoga practice supports your body in your daily life. Supporting your body by improving flexibility, by building strength, improving mobility. Supports you in activities that you do every day. And your yoga practice can transcend the yoga studio or your yoga practice in general into your daily life. And how all the benefits that we gain from a yoga practice can help you even just cleaning around the house, maybe in your job, maybe playing with your kids or grandkids, staying active and having the freedom to move more freely. So feeling supported here physically by the earth and the cushion, but also feeling supported in your yoga practice. Today we are going to be working into bow pose, which is a deep back bend pose, and it can be quite challenging. Don't get hung up on what the pose looks like or where we're working to at the end, but more the journey. And by the journey, I mean all the benefits you can gain along the way. So although our end target may be to go to bow pose, really the benefits come from all the flexibility and strength that we need to get there. And even if we don't make it all the way to bow pose, we're still gaining flexibility and strength that we can use to support our bodies. So remember, the journey is the most important part. And stay here for a couple more breaths, feeling into the support. If you need to make any adjustments, feel free. If you're feeling this in your back, feel free to move any way that feels good. And when you're ready, you can begin to move your cushion or your prop out of the way. And we're going to be staying down on our backs for a little while. So coming down flat onto your back and bending your knees, feet flat on the ground. We're just going to start by finding some length in the back of the neck. So just a gentle tuck of your chin. If you're anything like me, you might end up with a few extra chins when you do it. Finding length down the back of your neck, tucking your chin in and just pausing here. Feeling the compression in the front of your neck and the length of the back of your neck. Remember, the neck is an extension of your spine. So we're aiming to find length down the back of the neck and down through the whole spine. Tucking the chin in, stretching through the back of the neck. We're stretching through the back of the neck before we move into a bridge pose where we'll be putting some force onto it. So we're getting the back of the neck ready and compression in the back of the neck, activating the muscles in the front of the neck to release the muscles in the back. This is called reciprocal inhibition. And then you can come back to neutral, how feels good for you. So maybe take your chin up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, tuck your chin again, finding that length in the back of the neck, compression in the front of the neck. Make sure you're breathing here. Exhale, take your chin up towards the ceiling. And we'll do one more like that. So finding your length. And exhale, chin up towards the ceiling. Hands are down by your sides, palms facing down. I'm going to tuck the chin again to start off, and then gently lifting your head and chest up off the mat, reaching your hands down by your sides. Hands are hovering above the mat. And then exhale to lower down, head comes down last. We'll do that a few more times, tucking your chin first before you lift up, and then lifting head and chest up off the mat. Exhale to lower down. 3 more like that. So tucking your chin in first, lengthening the back of the neck, and then lifting up. Your shoulder blades come up off the mat as you reach your hands down by your sides. Exhale to lower down. 2 more like that. So what we're doing is we're stretching the back of the neck and strengthening in the front of the neck. We're also getting some activation in the core as we do this movement as well, which our core, of course, is very important to support us through our yoga practice. Keeps us strong, helps with our posture. I lied, let's do one more. And exhale to lower down. Maybe give the head a gentle rock from side to side. And then coming back to neutral. Okay, setting up for our bridge pose next. So find a strong position with your legs, and that could be for you stacking your knees over your ankles so your joints are stacked so that you can press down your feet when we do go to lift up. Before we do that, though, we're really going to break down our bridge pose and all the elements and make sure that we're connecting to everything that's happening, because bridge pose uses lots of different muscles in lots of different ways, depending on how high we go, how quick we go. So let's see if we can connect to everything that's happening. Bring the hands down by your sides, tuck your chin into your chest. So you're finding that length down the back of the neck. We're also going to find length down the back of the spine. So tucking your tail a little bit to see if you can press your lower back into the mat. And as you tuck your tail, you'll feel that your glutes begin to lift up off the mat. Now you can feel that your glutes are slightly switched on. You might feel that on the sides, and you can give them a tap if you like. The sides of your glutes might still be really loose, but on the inside, your glutes are starting to switch on. Now, also by tucking your tail, you're pulling your pubic bone towards you, activating your core muscle. So your core is starting to switch on as well. We're finding length in the back of the neck, length in the spine, pressing down through the feet, just a little tiny baby bridge here, just to feel that activation in the glutes. And you might start to feel some activation in your hamstrings as well, or your inner thighs as you press down to press up. We're here for one more breath. And as you exhale, see if you can lower down one vertebrae at a time till you come all the way down onto your tail, nice and slow. Good work. Okay, we'll do that again. So we're going to tuck the tail to find length in the lower back. Tuck your chin to find length in the neck, and the whole spine is long. Pubic bone is pulling towards you to activate your core, pressing down through the feet. Glutes are starting to switch on. And maybe you press a little bit more into the feet to come up just a little bit higher. And as you do come a little bit higher, can you notice the difference? Can you notice the different activation in your muscles? Can you feel a little bit more activation in your legs? And you can always give your muscles a bit of a poke, a bit of a tap to see what's going on. If that helps you connect a little bit more to what's happening, you can give your bum a bit of a poke and feel what muscles are activating, because we don't just have one big muscle in our bum either. It's not just one big glute. We've got lots of muscles in there as well. So what can you feel going on the inside of your glutes compared to the outside of your glutes? Your quads compared to your hamstrings. Press down through the feet. We're here for one more breath. And as you exhale, lower down one vertebrae at a time. Keep your tail tucked till you come all the way down. Nice work. All right, we're adding on, going a little bit higher this time. Make sure we're tucking the chin, tuck the tail first. So this is where we're starting every time. Find that activation in the glutes, activating in the core as you pull the pubic bone in and press down through the feet to press up. And maybe you go a little bit higher. Choice is yours, how high you would like to go. Feeling into the activation in this layer here. We do have one more of these, so maybe you don't push up to your fullest extent yet, just feeling into the activation, pressing down through the feet, lifting up through the hips. Glutes may be even more active now. Glutes are all switched on. Your legs are working, your core is working, chin is tucked in. Here for one more breath. And as you exhale, one vertebrae at a time, feel into the spine, coming all the way down. Tail is still tucked to the very end. And come all the way down. Nice work. Legs are starting to heat up. Mine are getting a little bit shaky today. All right, tuck your chin in. This is our last one. Tuck your tail. Feel that activation in your glutes. Core is switching on as you pull your pubic bone towards you. Press down through the feet to press up. Maybe you come up a little bit higher, press your hips up high. And when you do come into your fullest extent, see what you can notice if there's any difference here. If you get to a point where your hips go up really high, can you feel maybe there's less activation in your core because maybe your tail tucks less when you get all the way up? Can you keep your tail tucked, pull your pubic bone towards you so your core stays active, your glutes stay active, and we're pressing down through the feet to press up so our muscles in our legs are all active and getting nice and strong. We're here for a couple more breaths. Stay with it. I know it's hard. You're using a lot of muscles here. One more big breath in. And as you exhale, come down nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time. Keep that tail tucked till you come all the way down. Nice one. All right, hug the knees in tight. Give yourself a big hug. Maybe a little bit of a rock from side to side, or maybe drawing some circles with your knees. Feel into how this feels on your back. Feel into the movement in your spine. Or maybe you like to separate the knees and feel a little bit into the inner thighs. Just notice what's feeling good in your body this morning. All right, and give yourself a big hug. Hug the knees in tight. Bring your nose up to your knees. Big squeeze, giving yourself lots of love, getting ready for a bit more movement. And then we'll begin to rock all the way up to seated. Now, as you do this, choice is yours. If you'd like to have just a bit of fun with it and just go for a bit of rock, go for it. Or you can try and keep it a bit more controlled, using your strength to slowly build up momentum, to rock up and down the length of the spine until you can come all the way up to seated. And when you get to your seated position, just find a comfortable seated position. If you have any props that you'd like to use, go ahead and use them. If you like to put them underneath your tail. Legs can be crossed, you could be kneeling, legs out in front, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Choice is yours. Sitting up nice and tall, find length in your spine. And just bring your awareness back to your breath for a moment. Feel maybe some energy flowing through your body now. A little bit of warmth. Maybe you can feel the strength that we just used in the legs. The muscles are awake and alive. On your next exhale, we're going to take a deep rounding into the spine. Bringing your heart in towards you, round through the shoulders, tuck your chin into your chest. And as you inhale, send your heart all the way forward. Gaze can be forward, or maybe you like to gaze up a little bit of a back bend here in the spine. And exhale to round it all the way through. So your pubic bone comes towards your ribs, chin tucks in. Inhale to come forward, pressing the heart all the way forward, opening up through the chest, rolling the shoulders back, long through the spine. Exhale to round. And moving with your own breath here for a few of these. Exploring through the spine, exploring through the neck. I would encourage you to, when you do bring your heart forward next, to take your chin up towards the ceiling if it's feeling okay in your neck, as we are going to be moving into a lot of back bends in our practice today. It's important to include the neck as we work through the spinal movements. So explore how your neck is feeling. Now your neck could feel a little bit sensitive when you take your chin up, because we are compressing into the back of the neck, which isn't necessarily the most comfortable position, or not a position that we take most often, especially in our forward bending lifestyle, where we spend a lot of time hunched over, maybe looking at a computer or a phone, or eating or driving. So really exploring how it feels in your neck, how this movement feels for you. And it may feel a little bit sensitive, so just take it slow and be gentle. Couple more here, moving with your own breath. Exploring where your gaze would like to go. And noticing how this feels in your spine, in your heart. Where do you feel it in your body? Take one more back and one more forward. Inhale to come forward. Beautiful. We're going to make our way into tabletop position, so onto hands and knees, whether you'd like to swing your legs around or roll over your knees, completely up to you. And when you come into your tabletop position, just setting up a nice, strong foundation here. So wrists about underneath your shoulders, so you're stacking your joints nice and strong to be able to push away, and knees underneath your hips, if that feels comfortable for you. Now, if your knees are feeling a little bit sensitive today and kneeling isn't very comfortable, you can always use a towel or a blanket, or maybe you've got an extra mat Or you can always fold up your mat a little bit or roll it so that it gives you a little bit of support under your knees. Okay, we are going to be doing a little bit of kneeling today, so make any adjustments that you might need to. In your tabletop position, we're going to shift weight into the left hand and take your right hand just out to the side with your palm facing down, reaching it nice and strong, nice and long, reaching it over to the right side. Try and keep your hips square while you're here, and exhale to lower down. Inhale to reach out. Exhale to lower down. 3 more like that. See if you can reach your fingers a little bit longer, nice and long and strong in the arm. Exhale to lower down. Inhale to come out. Exhale to lower down. 1 more. And down. Awesome. We're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to flip the palm facing up. So inward rotation of the shoulder. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. Now this might feel a little bit weird. It's a bit of an awkward position to what we would usually take with the shoulders, but it's important to move into those different positions, the different alignment that we don't always do, because if we don't use it, we'll lose the ability to do it. And it can come in handy in our daily lives. We never know when we might need to use this position. Last one here, and then coming down. Keeping the weight into that left hand, we're going to reach the right hand back behind. So just straight along your body this time, reaching the fingers all the way back to whatever's behind you, and then lowering down. Inhale to lift and reach, and lower down. Try and keep your hips square. Try and keep your neck nice and long. So if you are looking up at the video, maybe try gazing down to your hand to lengthen through the back of the neck, lengthen through the spine. We've got 1 more here. And down. We're going to take that right hand all the way out to the side, and then bending into the left elbow, come down so that you're down on your shoulder, hips are up high, and then gazing in the opposite direction. So you're down on your right ear, right shoulder. And whatever you would like to do with the left hand, you can push down through the left hand if you'd like to add another layer, twisting into the spine. Just be careful of that right shoulder. Notice how it's feeling today. Or maybe you'd like to reach that hand forward to allow the heart to sink down a little bit more. What we're aiming for here is a bit of opening into that right shoulder and opening into the chest. So if you feel like you can get into that a little bit more with a little bit of push with the left hand, go ahead and give that a go. Here for 1 more breath in and out. And then we'll come back up, push through that left hand to come back up to your tabletop position, and we'll move to the opposite side. So shifting weight into your right hand, let's take the left hand, we're lifting it out to the side, lifting out nice and straight, nice and long, reach through those fingers, and then bringing it back down. Inhale to lift and reach. Exhale, bring it back down. 3 more like that. Really reaching through the fingers, keep your arm nice and long and strong, and down. Lift and reach. Last one. And then we're going to flip the palm. So palm is facing up towards the ceiling. Inward rotation with that shoulder. And inhale to lift and down. Activating into the shoulders, really strengthening the shoulder joint before we move into our bow pose, which can be quite a strong movement in the shoulders with holding onto the feet in a back bend. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, you'll see when we get there. Last one here. Beautiful. Arms are starting to warm up, feeling that activation in the shoulders. Then we'll take that hand directly behind you, palm facing in, and just lifting that arm back. Try and keep your shoulders down away from your ears. We're reaching back with the fingers, reach to whatever is behind you. 2 more like that. Last one here. Awesome. All right, then we're taking that left hand, reach it out nice and long, and bend into the right elbow, coming down onto the left ear, and then finding a little bit of a push through that right hand if that works for you. So we're opening up through the shoulder, opening up through the chest. And maybe you take the gaze up as well. Try and keep your hips square, tail is up high. We're here for a couple of breaths. Maybe you wriggle the fingers out a little bit further as you get more comfortable here to find a little bit more of a stretch into your shoulder. Take a big breath in. And then we'll move back into our tabletop position. So pressing down through the right hand to bring yourself all the way back up into your tabletop position. Give the shoulders a bit of a roll out. We're really working into the strength in our arms today, aren't we? Okay, we're going to shift into the left leg. So kick down through the left knee and left heel. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see a little bit better. Kick down through the left knee and left shin, top of the left foot. We're going to take the right foot up towards the sky, flexing through the foot so the sole of the foot is shining up towards the ceiling. And just some little pulses here. So we're pulsing the knee up, sole of the foot comes up and then back in line with the hip. So try and keep it controlled, slow and controlled, moving with your breath. We've got a few more of these here. What we're doing is trying to use the muscles in the back of the leg. The activation in the back of the leg to lift the leg up helps to release the muscles in the front of the leg. So we're stretching down the quads and the hip flexors by activating into the hamstrings and the glutes. Here for two more. The last one. Nice work. All right, coming back to your tabletop, we'll move to the opposite side. So press down through the right leg, kick down through the top of the right foot, and taking the left leg up towards the ceiling, flexing the foot, shine the sole high, and we're kicking up, lifting the knee, and then back in line with the hips. Here for 3, 2, and last one. Nice work. Okay, we're going to come down onto our bellies this time, all the way down. I'm moving into, starting into our back bends a little bit more. I'm moving into our Cobra. So we're going to start by activating through the lower body. Point your toes, squeeze your feet together. We're zipping up through the inner thighs, activating through the glutes a little bit. Hands coming underneath your shoulders. Now keeping space in between your shoulder blades. So a slight roll forward of the shoulders to keep space in between your shoulder blades. And we're lifting the heart forward, and we're going to lift the hands as well. So reaching the heart forward, think forward with the heart rather than up, keeping space in between the shoulder blades to avoid compression into the lower back, keeping the spine nice and long. Maybe you gaze down to lengthen through the back of the neck as well. And exhale to lower down. Let's do a couple more like that. So inhale to lift the heart forward. Exhale to lower down. Keep activation through the lower body. Inhale, heart comes forward. Exhale to lower down. One more time here. Inhale, heart comes forward. Exhale to lower down. So with our Cobra, it is common tendency is to press down through the hands, use a lot of force to really press up. And you'll see here by the shape of my spine, there's a hinge point just here. So there's more of an L shape rather than a nice curve. What we're working on by creating space in between the shoulder blades is taking pressure off the lower back. We're supporting our lower back by activating through the lower body. And by thinking of sending the heart forward rather than up, we're trying to lengthen the spine and distribute the bend in the back evenly rather than dumping into the lower back. Let's try that a couple more times. Inhale to come up. You can lift the hands and the heart at the same time. Exhale to lower down. Inhale to come up, heart comes forward. And exhale to lower down. Awesome work. Okay, bringing your hands out into a T shape. We're going to move into a bit of a broken wing. This is similar to what we did in a tabletop position. So opening up through the shoulders and the chest. First, we're going to start with the right hand underneath your right shoulder. And then we're going to take the left leg and gently begin to bring the left leg over behind you to shift your weight onto your left shoulder. Now, your leg might stack on top of the other, or it might come all the way over behind you. And we're reaching through that left hand. Stay there for a couple of breaths. I'm just going to come so that you can see from this position as well what's happening with the left hand. We're rolling over. Now, option where you would like to keep that left leg, you can keep it stacked on top of the other. It might even be bent in front, depending on how your shoulder is feeling in this position. It can be quite forceful, a bit of pressure to open up through the shoulder and the chest here. So listen to what's happening for you. Notice how it's feeling. And we're reaching through those left fingers. Here for a couple more breaths. On your next exhale, roll gently back onto your belly, coming back into a T shape, and we'll move to the opposite side. So reaching through the right fingers, take the left hand underneath your shoulder and begin to push and shift your weight over onto the right shoulder. Again, option with what you would like to do here with your legs. It might not look the same on this side as it did on the other side. Listen to how it's feeling in the shoulder, opening up through that side of the chest. Reaching through the right fingers. One more breath here. And when you're ready to exhale, shift the weight back onto your belly. Bring your hands in underneath your shoulders. Now moving into a cobra again, this time we're going to try with just a little bit of force into the fingers. So we've done it with no force at all, using all of our back strength when we did no hands. We're keeping all of that back strength as we use a little bit of fingers. So we're still zipping up through the feet, zipping up through the thighs, a little bit of activation in the glutes, and coming up onto your fingertips as you lift your heart and your gaze maybe comes forward. Heart comes forward, keep space in between your shoulder blades. So maybe there's a little bit of roll forward in your shoulders, keeping length in the spine and feel the activation in your back muscles. Exhale to lower down. We'll do 3 more like that. I'm going to move to the side. Press down through the fingers to press up. 100% back strength, supplemented with about 10% of force through the fingers. Exhale to lower down. Do 1 more like that. Inhale, reach forward and up with your heart. Exhale to lower down. Nice work. Keeping hands underneath your shoulders, we're going to tuck the toes, lift your belly, tuck your chin in, and press down through the hands to lift your tail and your chest at the same time. Back to a tabletop position, and then walk your hands all the way back so that you are standing on your knees. All right, so we're standing on our knees here. We're going to shift weight into the left leg. So into the left knee, kicking down through the top of the left foot to balance there, and then step your right foot forward. You're going to tuck the tail under, so pubic bone is pulling up towards your ribs and feeling a nice stretch down the front of the hamstrings here. As you feel that stretch in the hamstrings, we're also going to add a little bit of a back bend. So again, the same thing that we did with our cobra, we're leading with the heart. So the heart is pulling up towards the ceiling, forward and up with the heart. And maybe you play with where the gaze would like to go. Maybe the gaze goes up to the ceiling, maybe it goes forward, or maybe you drop the head back if your neck is feeling really open. Keep your shoulders relaxed down. Make sure your pubic bone is still pulling up, tail is tucked. Heart is reaching high as you move into a little bit of a back bend here. 1 more breath. Nice work. Bring the chin back forward. Bring the spine back up straight. And we will swap legs. So shift weight into that left leg to bring the right leg down. Swapping to the other side. So pressing down through the top of the right foot. Shift weight into the right foot first. See if you can keep this controlled as you step that left foot forward. Tuck your tail under, finding that length down the front of the glute and the hip flexor, and then begin to take your heart up. Take your gaze up, lifting your heart. Tail is tucked under, pubic bone pulling up. Nice back bend as well as a nice stretch down the front of that right leg. Take 1 more breath here. And then bring your chin in first, bring your spine back up, shift weight into that right leg to bring your left leg back down. Awesome. We're going to make our way into our first down dog. So bringing your hands back down into a tabletop position, find space in between your shoulder blades as you press down through the hands, tuck your chin in towards your belly, tuck your toes under, hover your knees,
And then send your tail up and back to your down dog. Pedal it out here if it feels good. Warming up through the legs, finding a little bit of movement. We haven't done that much on the legs yet. Oh, we did bridge. That worked up the legs a little bit, didn't it? A bit of a different position here though. Notice how this is feeling. And then coming into stillness when you're ready. Find that push away with the hands to push up. Find length in the spine. Maybe a bit of a bend in the knees helps you to find some more length in the spine. Wrap your armpits in towards your chest to find space in between the shoulder blades. One big breath in here and out. We're going to shift weight into the left foot and take the right leg up towards the sky. Bend your knee and bring your knee up above your hips. So we're stacking the hips, opening the hips over to the right side. Option to keep your chest down towards the mat here, or maybe like a bit more of opening by gazing underneath the right elbow, right armpit. And then bring your hips back into alignment, but keeping that right leg up. We're going to flex the foot, and we're going to do the same pulses up towards the ceiling that we did in tabletop position. You might need to get a bit of a bend in the supporting leg here to access it. We're here for 3, 2, last one, and then we're going to bring the weight all the way forward. Bring your knee through to your chest. Push away with your hands to get a little bit of height, and then step forward into your low lunge. You can bring that back knee down, top of the back foot comes down. I'm going to press down through the left hand to bring the right elbow up high. And then we're going to take that palm, keep it facing in towards you, and reach your fingers back. So arm is parallel to the ground, reaching back through the right fingers, inward rotation of the shoulder. Now, this is a similar position as to what our arm will be in when we're in bow pose. Reaching back through the right fingers for one more breath. Good. Now bringing that right hand down to frame the front foot. We're going to tuck the back toes to lift the back knee. Tuck your tailbone under to shift your weight off your front leg. Press down to press up through that front foot and bring your weight all the way up so you're in a high lunge here. Bending into that front leg to sit down a little bit more into that back leg to find a nice stretch down the front of the back leg. Reaching up nice and tall. And we're going to add a little bit of a back bend here. So we're going to cactus the arms, take the elbows out wide, and chest comes up high. Chest is open. Maybe you play around with where the gaze would like to go, and up to you what degree of a back bend you'd like to go into here, depending on how it's feeling in your spine and your neck. Bending through that front knee. We're here for one more breath. And then on your next exhale, bring both of those hands down to frame the front foot. Press down through those hands to shift weight off that front foot and step back to your down dog. Nice work. Pedal it out here. And we'll move to the opposite side. So shifting weight into the right leg, take your left leg up towards the ceiling and then stacking your hips. So we're opening the hips up towards the left side. Again, option here to keep your heart down towards the mat or twisting a little bit more to open up through the hips. Pressing away with the hands. And then bring your hips back to square. And we're pulsing through that left foot. So again, you might need a bit of a bend in that supporting leg to access this. Pulsing the left foot up towards the ceiling. We're getting that lengthening through the front of the leg and activation through the back of the leg to help us when we get into our bow pose. One more here. And then we'll shift the weight all the way forward, bring the knee through to the chest, find height, pressing away with your hands to step forward into your lunge. Bring the back knee down, untuck the toes. We're going to bring the right hand down to the mat, left elbow comes up high, and then reaching left hand back. So inward rotation of the shoulder as we reach the fingers all the way back, arm is parallel to the ground and reaching through those back fingers. So the arm's not just hanging out here. Make sure there's an active reach, like you're really trying to reach someone behind you. Here for one more breath. And then you can bring that left hand down to frame the front foot. We'll tuck the back toes to lift the back knee.
Tuck your tail under to feel your weight shift off that front leg and press down to press up through that front foot to come all the way up into your high lunge. A little bit of a bend more into that front knee, lengthen through the back leg to find length through the front of the back leg. And then we'll come into our cactus arm. So elbows are out wide and heart is up high. Choose where you'd like to go with your gaze, moving into your degree of a back bend. One more breath here. And then bringing the hands all the way down to frame the front foot. Shifting weight into your hands, we're going to step that back foot up to meet the front. So a little bit of a rock to come into your forward fold. In your forward fold, see if you can find a little bit of length down the back of your legs, length into the hamstrings, letting your upper body hang down here. And then we'll tuck the tail, press down through the heels, gaze up towards your belly, and begin to roll all the way up, stacking your spine as you come all the way up to standing. We made it. We made it all the way up to standing. Inhale, reach up high, bring the hands up. Exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. We're going to work on a little bit of back bending here in our standing position. So as you inhale, we're reaching up high, and then we're going to flip the palms to face whatever's behind you, shining your backs of your elbows forward. To shine your elbows really all the way forward, you might need to get a little bit of a bend in your elbows as well. Now, what this does, and you might be able to see the difference in my shoulders, in my shoulder blades, it just creates a little bit more space in between your shoulder blades, which, as we said, just helps to take some of the pressure off your lower back when you move into a back bend, really creating space down the whole length of the spine. So let's inhale, reach the heart up. Maybe you take the gaze up and you're moving into a little bit of back bend with a little bit of extra opening in the upper back. Stay here for one more breath. And exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Let's reach up high again. Inhale, reach up. And this time we're going to do a back bend with our cactus arm. So elbows out wide, chest is up high. Maybe you take the gaze up, depending on how your neck's feeling. Chest is reaching up. Think up and over with your back bend rather than just back. Inhale, reach up high. And exhale, we'll fold all the way down. Bring your hands up to your lower back and then interlace your fingers, and then begin to press your knuckles up towards the ceiling, letting your arms come up above you. And if it feels okay in your shoulders, bring them up and over. A similar position here as to what we will be in when we go into our bow pose in the shoulders. Make sure you're really pulling your arms away from you to open up through the shoulders rather than your shoulders sinking down towards your ears. So we're pressing the knuckles up and high away from us to lengthen through the arms and pull the shoulders away. Here for one more breath. And then gently release the fingers, release your hands down, plant your palms and step back into your plank pose. So into your plank, and then we'll lower down all the way down onto the tummy. So hugging your elbows in, lower all the way down, and moving into our next level of Cobra. So you can add a little bit more force if you're feeling ready for it, if your spine's feeling ready. We are going to keep that activation in the lower body. So feet are together, zipping up through the inner thighs, a bit of activation in the glutes. Hands are underneath your shoulders. And as you inhale, we'll press down through the hands, but keep all that activation in the back. So heart is reaching forward, space in between the shoulder blades, using the back muscles. And then we're adding a little bit of supplemented force through the hands. One more breath. And exhale to lower down. We'll try a couple more times like that. Now, as you do it, moving with your own breath, take your heart forward. Make sure you're keeping the spine nice and long. Think about the length rather than the height. Make sure you're using all of your back strength first before you add the force of your hands. Exhale to lower down. One more like that.
And exhale to lower down. Nice work. Tuck your toes under. Press down through your palms. Lift your belly, tuck your chin. And we're going to press down to press back to your tabletop position. Walk your hands all the way back towards you to come to kneeling. So we're standing up on the knees. We're going to shift weight again into the left foot to step the right foot forward, tucking your tail under, pubic bone pulls up, bring your hands together at your heart. Now, option here, we've had a few different options with the arms in our back bends. You can keep your hands at your heart and lift your heart as you move into a back bend, or you can try your cactus arms, which really opens up through your chest as well as you move into your back bend, or you can try what we did standing, where you turn your palms back, elbows forward to move into your back bend. So whatever you would like to try, wherever you would like to go, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, keep your tail tucked under. So we're stretching down the front of the left leg and also creating a back bend, stretching through the front of the body, opening up through the front of the body, activating the back body. One more breath here. And wherever you are, tuck your chin and bring your hands back together at the heart. We'll shift weight into the left leg to bring that right leg back and swapping into the opposite side. So shift weight into the right leg, kick down through the top of the right foot to shift your weight, and then step your left leg forward. Tuck your tail under, pubic bone pulls up, heart lifts, and wherever you would like to go with your arms. So cactus arms or hands at your heart or palms facing back or anything else you would like to do. Wherever you are, lift your heart up, play around with your gaze, notice how your spine is feeling. Keep your tail tucked. Notice what's happening in your body. Where are you feeling this? How is your yoga practice supporting you right now? These back bends are so super important in our lifestyle at the moment. With all of our forward bending, it's really important to reverse that with these back bends that create strength in the spine to support us to stay strong and stay upright, so that when we do get old and frail, we're not always hunched over. And exhale, bring your hands back to your heart. Nice work. We'll shift that knee back together and we'll come back down onto your belly, coming all the way down, lowering down onto your belly. We're coming back into our Cobra. This time, if your spine is feeling ready, your neck is feeling ready, you can add as much force as you feel ready to. Just remember to activate through the lower body. So feet, thighs, glutes, and then hands underneath your shoulders. Keep space in between your shoulder blades. Use your back strength first to come up, and then adding in a little bit of force if you're feeling ready to. Remember to think forward with the heart rather than just up, so that you're distributing the bend all through your spine rather than just creating a hinge point in the lower back. We'll try 2 more like that. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale to lower down. Last one. Go where you would like to. And coming down. Nice work. All right, bringing your hands down underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes, lift your belly, take your chin to your chest. And we're lifting belly, tail, and chest at the same time to come up through your tabletop position. And then we're pressing straight up to our down dog. So pressing down through the hands to press back. Coming to your down dog, finding length in your spine, press away with the hands. Send the tail back, maybe a bit of a bend in the knees. And then we'll shift weight into the left leg to take the right foot up to the sky. We're shining the sole of the foot up towards the ceiling, bend into the supporting leg so that you can find those pulses. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and then bring your knee all the way through to your chest. Find that height to step forward into your low lunge. Pressing down through the left hand, let's take the right elbow up high and then reach back behind. Reaching through the fingers. And then exhale, bring that hand back down to frame the front foot. We'll tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and bring the arms all the way up. And straight away, we're going to sink down a little bit more into that front leg, lengthen through the back leg, and join in with your back bend. So taking your gaze up high, open through the heart,
Heart is lifting as you lower down. On your next exhale, bring the hands all the way forward. Plant your palms, shift weight into your hands and step back to your down dog. Shift weight into your right leg. We'll take the left leg up towards the sky. Bend in the knee to shine the sole of the foot high and finding your pulses. So you might need to bend through that right leg for 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And then shift your weight forward, find that height before you step through to your low lunge. Beautiful. Bring your right hand down, left elbow comes up high, and then reaching that left hand back. Reach, reach, reach. And then exhale, bring that left hand down, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, tuck your tail under to bring your weight all the way up. Sink down a little bit and then coming into your back bend, lifting your heart up high, keep space in between your shoulders. Play with where you'd like to take your gaze. This is your practice. Where do you want to go with your back bend? One more breath. Exhale, let's plant the palms. And we're going to shift the weight forward to come through to your forward fold. Nice work, guys. Building up a little bit of heat in the body. In your forward fold here. And we'll tuck the tail, gaze to the belly, roll up through the spine to come all the way up to standing. Roll the shoulders back when you get there. Nice work. All right. We're going to shift weight into the left leg and find a bit of a micro bend in that supporting knee. So a little bit of a micro bend there, which activates the quad, activates the muscles in your legs to help support you to stay upright, feel nice and strong in your balance. As we move into a bit of a balancing pose, make sure you keep that micro bend there. Bit of buoyancy in that leg. We're going to take the right leg up behind. And at the same time, we're going to send the hands back, palms facing in, heart is open. We're moving into a little bit of a back bend here. So try to take the foot up towards the hands so that the hands are framing the foot, hands back towards the foot, heart lifts. Maybe you play with where the gaze would like to go. So a bit of a back bend here and foot is reaching up, hands are reaching back. Here for 3, 2, 1. Nice work. So what we're doing here is a bit of an open chain version of our bow pose when we're laying down, but we've flipped it so we're upstanding and we're open chain without the added force that we add when we go into our bow pose. So in this position here, we're taking that micro bend in the right leg, kicking the left foot up, and we're trying to reach back towards the foot. We're getting the back bend, but we're not adding any force yet. So lift your heart up high on this side. Left leg is kicking up in between the hands. Take the gaze up high if you would like to. Here for one more breath. And exhale, release, and we'll come all the way down into your forward fold. Plant the palms and step back to your down dog. Take a big breath in and out. Okay, we're going to shift the weight all the way forward and then lower down onto your belly. So hugging those elbows in, lower down nice and strong, all the way down onto your belly. Awesome. From here, I'm going to turn sideways. Lucky these mats are nice and slippery. I can just spin myself around. You're going to come down with your forearms, rest your head down onto your forearms, and then taking a bend in the knees so the soles of your feet are shining up towards the ceiling. Now, whatever feels more comfortable for you, you can keep your knees in about hip width distance, or you can take them out a little bit wider if that feels better for you. So just see how you go. You'll know when you get there what feels better for you. So keeping your head down on your forearms, and we're just going to lift the knees up away from the mat and then lower back down. A few more like that, shining the soles of the feet up high and then lower back down. Keep going here. We've got about 4 more. So what we're doing, again, is activating through the back body to help the front of the body release. So we're activating through the hamstrings and the glutes to communicate to the front of the body that they are doing all the work. It's okay, front body, you can release. What we're also doing is a similar pose to our bow pose, but without the force. So we're communicating to the body, this is where we're going in a minute. So you should get there on your own before I make you. Last one here. Okay, let's send those legs out long. Bring your hands down underneath your shoulders, and we're going to press back. Send the tail all the way back over your feet, just coming into your child's pose. Tail down over your feet. Knees can be wide or they can be narrow, whatever feels better for you. Allowing the heart to melt down. Reach forward with the hands. And we're just letting the spine lengthen and release a little bit. We're doing lots of back bends today, so it's nice to be in a position like this where you can just reverse it a little bit more. So just allow your spine to really curl here, stretch it out before we start to work it a bit more. Take one more breath here. And then we'll walk the hands all the way forward, coming back down onto your belly. Again, coming down onto your forearms. Head can rest on your forearms. Bend in the knees, shine the soles up towards the ceiling. Now, if you would like to, you can add another layer here. We're going to be doing these same pulses, but if you'd like to add another layer, instead of having your head resting down, maybe you take your gaze forward, lifting the head, and it just creates a little bit more of a back bend compared to down here. We're bending into the spine a little bit more. You can lift the heart a little bit more if your spine is feeling ready. We're here for 3. See if you can lift those knees a little bit more. 2. Lift the knees up really high for the last one. Oh, hold there. Hold, hold, hold. And lower down. Awesome work. Okay. Wiggle the hips a little bit. That feels good to release the spine. All right, we're going to bring the hands now down by your sides. Now you can choose to stay open chain with this, which is just taking the feet up and reaching back, or you can choose to add a little bit of force if you would like to. See how you go, see how your spine's feeling, wherever you would like to go with this. We're going to, whatever you'd like to do with the knees, whether the knees are hip width or whether they are out a little bit wider, it might help you to reach the feet, having the knees a little bit wider. So up to you, see how you go. We're going to try one at a time, okay? So reaching the right hand back, lift the knee first and squeeze the foot in towards you. Then take the hand and see if you can touch that foot. Without grabbing it yet, just give it a little bit of a tap and then lower down. Then we'll try the other side, lifting the knee, squeeze the foot in, and then reach the hand back. See if you can give it a little bit of a tickle, and then lower down. Lower the legs down just for a minute, and then we'll come back up. Pointing the toes, take the knees up, squeeze the feet in, and then you can try one foot at a time. Reach back, reach back. And if you're able to grab both, stay there. If you find like it's hard to reach your feet, try the harder one first. So if the left leg is harder to reach, try that one first so that you've got that one, and then try the right one, see how you go there. If you're unable to reach your feet, that's okay. It is very difficult to do depending on your proportions in your body. So try with open chain and just reaching your feet, reaching your hands back without the added force. If you are able to reach, then holding onto the tops of your feet or your ankles, and then begin to kick your feet into your hands and up. This will bring your heart up and forward, and you can play with where you'd like to take your gaze. Remember, reach forward with your heart to lengthen through the spine. Reach your knees back behind you and kick your feet up. Trying to distribute the bend in your spine all the way throughout your back rather than a hinge point. And exhale to lower down. Lengthen the legs out, have a little bit of a wiggle. Take a breath. And let's try that again. So maybe you try reaching the other foot first, or the most difficult foot first. See how you go. We're going to take the feet up, point the toes, lift the knees, and then reach your hands back. Holding onto your feet if you can reach there, or staying with open chain to lift your heart up there. Stay there for a couple of breaths, really kicking into your feet, lengthen your heart forward. If you are staying with open chain, this here, this can be really, really strengthening. So even if you've got your hands on your feet with this force, just remember that some of your muscles are actually not working as hard in this position because they're being held here. If you go with open chain, you have to work a lot harder. So if strength is your focus, maybe you want to try open chain and play with that a bit longer, because that is going to be building up more strength in your body, because your body has to work harder to stay there rather than releasing into that hold and that force. You can release back down, come back down onto your belly. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Pull your belly up, tuck your chin in, press down through your hands to come up through your tabletop position, and send your tail all the way back to your child's pose. Find that rounding in the spine, so tuck your chin in. Knees can be together or they can be out wide, allowing your heart to melt down. Maybe you tuck your chin in a little bit to really find that rounding in the spine, reversing all that back bending that we did, just really stretching it out. Any movements that feel good here, go with it. Just whatever your body is feeling like it needs at this time. You've worked hard, you've done a lot of strengthening today. A lot of back bending feels good in the spine. Take one more breath here. And then we'll shift the weight forward over the hands, coming back to your tabletop position. Tuck your toes under, press down through the hands. Take your gaze towards your belly. Hover your knees and send the tail up and back to your down dog. We're going to shift weight into the left leg. Take your right leg up towards the sky, bend the knee, and just a couple more of those pulses here. So maybe bending through that supporting leg for 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to shift the weight forward, bring the knee forward, press the way through the hands. And we're shining the sole of the foot over towards left side. Knee is aiming up towards your elbow or towards your right arm. Hover here for 3, 2, 1. And then you can bring that knee down into your pigeon pose. So wriggle that back leg all the way back, all the way long. And in your pigeon pose here, there are a few options. You can take that cushion, that pillow that you had, and use it as a bit of support. So maybe it feels nice to have that just underneath that right butt cheek, or maybe you would like to have it all the way under you so that you're feeling a bit more supported here. Can feel really nice. We're aiming for a stretch in the right glute. You might also feel a bit of a stretch down the front of the left leg. Because we've been doing a lot of back bending today, we're not going to stay up here for very long. We're going to fold over into a bit more of a restorative position with the pigeon. So find your comfortable position with that front leg. You might like the knee out in front of your hip. You might like it a bit more forward. You might like that foot out further away from you, or you might like it in closer. Whatever is allowing you to feel into that stretch a little bit deeper. There are options as well. If that back leg out straight is not feeling so great for you, you can bend it in and come into a bit more of a deer pose. If you are choosing a deer pose, play around with where you fold, whether you fold over the front knee or the front foot. You'll feel a different stretch depending on which area you fold towards. Wherever you are, we're staying here folded for a little bit. So folding over that front leg and just allowing your head to rest down onto your forearms. Feeling into the sensations and the feedback that your body is giving you. Notice where you're feeling this. Notice what is stretching, what is releasing, what's feeling really good. And find a little bit of a curl into the spine. A bit of a rounding. See if you can sink a little bit deeper on the exhale.
We're here for about 3 more breaths. If you need to make any adjustments, feel free. If you'd like to add another layer and go a little bit deeper, or maybe try your foot a little bit further away from you, or maybe you'd like to try even adding a twist. So you can take your right hand a little bit further and try and push your spine to twist a little bit, maybe over the right shoulder if that's feeling good in your body. One more breath here. And then bring your body up onto your palms, shifting weight into your hands. Tuck those back toes under to lift that back knee, and really press down through the hands to press up and back to your down dog. Pedal out the legs. Notice the difference in the legs. Notice how the right leg feels different to the left. I don't know about you, but my right leg feels way longer right now than my left leg. Let's switch to the opposite side. So shifting weight into the right leg, take your left leg up high, bend that knee, shine the sole of the foot up, and moving into some pulses here, bending through the right leg. If that allows you to access it a bit more, here for 3, 2, 1. Shift your weight forward, bring your knee forward, shine the sole of your foot over to the right side, bringing the knee up towards the left elbow. We're hovering here for 3, 2, 1, and then bringing that left knee forward, sending the right leg out long. Now adding in any props that might feel good for you under that left butt cheek, maybe underneath you to support you. Maybe you play around with whether the knee likes to go forward or more out to the side, or where you like this foot. There's so many options in your pigeon pose. Even if it's something that you do often, play around with something a little bit different, because if you do the same thing all the time in your body will get used to doing the same thing, and it will always do the same thing, but it will never absorb the changes and the different things that we challenge it with. So challenge it by doing something a little bit different so that your body can get benefits from doing all those different things and building up strength or flexibility in different areas rather than always the same position. Pigeon might feel really good to you in the same position you try all the time, but I challenge you to maybe try it a little bit different. Try something a little bit different alignment. See how it feels. We're going to be here for a few breaths, allowing your body to release down. Allowing your body to enjoy the stretch and absorb all the benefits of a position like this. Maybe the stretching in the left glute, or the stretching in the left inner thigh, the stretch down the front of the right leg, a nice fold in the spine. I'm here for about 3 more breaths. Feel free to make any adjustments that you might need. On your next inhale, bring your palms down to the mat and begin to walk them back towards you. I'm going to swing the legs all the way around in front, and then coming down to laying on your back. When you get down there, bending your knees, bringing your feet flat on the ground, and we're going to lift the hips to the right side, put them down on the right side so the knees can fall over towards the left. And so your knees are stacked on top of each other. You can bring your right hand out to the side, so out to a bit of a T shape, and then your right leg, try and straighten it out as straight as you can over towards the left side. If you can bring it up as high as you can and flex through the foot, a little bit more stretch down through your glutes and maybe your hamstrings through that leg. Try and bring it up nice and high. Now with that bottom leg, you can keep it here supporting your top leg if that feels good. You can also try using a bolster or a cushion under that leg to support it as well. If it's hanging out a bit in the air, if it's not quite able to reach down, a bit of support feels nice. Or if you feel like you'd like to add another layer, you can take the bottom leg out. It can release down a little bit more. And again, another layer, you can reach down with that right hand towards the left foot and you hold on there for a bit of a spine twist. Remember, this isn't necessarily the focus here. What we're trying to do is get a stretch into that right leg. So if by holding on the leg, you lose and your leg starts to come and lift, let go of that bottom foot. That's not the important part. That's just a little fun thing that we can add on. Try and focus on that length through the right leg, reaching over to the side and finding some height so that you can really get into the glutes there. We're here for about 3 to 5 breaths. Try to let your body release in this position. Can feel a little bit awkward. Maybe see where you can maybe get some more support, whether it's using that bottom leg to support the top leg or a cushion. Or maybe your body starts to feel more and more comfortable and you would like to try adding on a little bit more of a twist. Grabbing that bottom foot. Take one more breath here. And then wherever you are, releasing the grab on that foot if you're holding onto it. And then bending into that top leg to roll back onto your back. Give your knees a bit of a hug in close. A squeeze. And then bring your knees back to bent, feet flat on the ground, and then lift your hips over to the left side to allow your knees to fall over to the right. So knees are stacked on top. I'm going to do it this way just so you can see from a different point of view this time. Arms are out to the side. We'll take that left leg out straight. Foot is flexed. Really stretching through that left glute, through the back of the leg. Take the leg up as high as you can, straight as you can. And then you can play around with putting either a bolster or a cushion under that leg, or you can try moving that leg away. Just notice how it feels for you. Maybe you try different things before you find what feels best in your body. We're all a little bit different, so just see how it goes for you. Or maybe, ooh, I'm not as open on this side. Reach down and hold on to that left foot if that feels good for you, getting a little bit more of a twist. Maybe you gaze over the left shoulder if you are going for a bit of a spinal twist. We're here for a few breaths, so make any adjustments that you need to. Play around with whatever you'd like to see how it feels in your body and get into that stretch a little bit more down through the left side. And it may be different on this side compared to the other side, like me. I'm definitely not as open on this side as I was on the other side. Here for about 3 more breaths. Notice if your body is starting to release into this a little bit more, starting to surrender. That stretch reflex that sometimes stops us and gets in the way starts to release the longer that you're here. And one more breath here. Okay. And then bending into that top leg to roll back onto your back. Hug your knees in, give yourself a big squeeze. Maybe you take your nose up to your knees as well. And you can hug yourself here as long as you like. Sometimes it just feels a really nice stretch in the back. Maybe you find a little bit of movement from rocking side to side. Or maybe you try to draw some circles with your knees. Squeeze in really, really tight. And when you're ready, you can release everything down to your Shavasana. Now sending the legs out nice and long. If you feel like your lower back wants a little bit more of a release, maybe you keep the knees bent with the feet flat on the ground, or maybe you take your cushion or your bolster and put it behind your knees so they've got a bit more support. Hands might be out by your sides. They might be all the way out to the side. Maybe they're on your belly, wherever feels comfortable for you. Make yourself comfortable. Maybe you give yourself a little bit of a wiggle, allow your shoulders to release down. Anything that can help you to relax a little bit more. And then closing down your eyes when you're ready. Bringing your awareness into your body, deep into your body. And notice how your body's feeling here. Notice if anything has shifted since the beginning of your practice. Notice the length of your legs. How long your legs are from your heels all the way up to your hips. Notice the length of your spine from your tail all the way up to your crown. Notice the length of your arms from your shoulders all the way down to the tips of your fingers. And notice your body being supported here. Always being supported here. Acknowledging that you can feel support on the ground, on the earth, whenever you want to. The earth is never going to leave you. The ground is never going to leave you. It's always going to be there to support you. Can you do the same for yourself? Can you continue to support yourself through taking the time to move your body and nourish your body through your yoga practice? Supporting your physical body, supporting your mental health, and supporting your lifestyle. And you feel into the stability of the support that you're providing. Notice your breath. Just let your breath be natural and free. Notice how your breath supports you and nourishes you without you even asking. It's always there. When you're ready to start making some little movements, be mindful with the movements that you choose. Maybe you choose to wriggle one finger at a time. Maybe you choose to spread out all 10 toes or roll your ankles. Maybe it feels nice to rock your head from side to side. Maybe you bend in the knees. Maybe you stretch the arms up, overhead, straight through the legs, and take a full body stretch. Keeping your eyes closed down, roll onto your side of choice. And just take a moment here to rest. A moment with your breath. And when you're ready to push yourself up to seated, try and keep your eyes closed down for as long as you can. Gently pressing yourself up to seated. Coming to a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. Try and find some length in the spine, reaching up with your crown. I'm all over the place on this mat because I've kept my eyes closed. Lengthen up through the spine. Hopefully you guys are all over the place too with me. And let's draw our hands together at the heart. Or maybe you like to keep them in your lap, or maybe you like to keep them on your knees, whatever resonates with you more. And just bow your chin down to your chest. And however you would like to connect with yourself today, giving yourself some love, some appreciation, and some gratitude for taking this time out of your day to spend with yourself and with me, moving your body, nourishing your body. Be grateful to yourself. Say a little internal thank you. Say thank you, your name, I love you. And thank you all for coming and joining me and spending the time here, sharing your practice. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a lovely day.